Good evening, friends with Jesus. I'm out here talking to you today about signs. I got a question for you though. How many of you, including myself, have ever started talking to God and you're like, well, God, if you're really there and you're listening, can you show me some signs? Like, what can I look for? Is it really you that's talking? Well, who to believe anymore? And so today I'm going to show you how to look for some of God's signs and some of the signs that have been already shown to us. But if you don't study history, and I mean like world history and biblical history, things that's found in the Bibles and manuscripts and stuff, then how do you know God's language? Because he has a type of way of showing you these signs. But if you are not, if you don't know what to look for, then how are you going to know these signs are from God? And the most important question is, because we're living in days, we're living in the last of the days, and I mean we're down to hours, which could be months, it could be another couple of days, it could be hours, but it's any given time for Jesus's return. And the biggest question is, if you don't understand the signs coming from God, then aren't you going to be persuaded or deceived into the signs of Satan? And so we're told and forewarned about an antichrist that would appear on the scene at the end of times, and he's so clever, and he promises peace, and he promises to fix everything around the world, that he doesn't even need God. That's what his motto and his declaration's going to be. So if we don't know if the signs are from God, then how do we know for sure that it's time to start looking for the Antichrist? So today I'm going to bring you a little bit about what some of these signs would look like and the ones that are here. And we're going to start with Israel. Now, whether you're pro-Israel or pro-Palestinians, it doesn't matter. The fact of it is that this is something biblically, like a historical writing of over 2,500 years ago, that is now coming to full center, can't deny the writings anymore, and it's right before our eyes, it's unfolding right before our eyes. So let's take a look at some of these things. Now, before we get started, because I do, like I told you before, I use the King James Version Bible, and I want to read this to you because some people think that we're not supposed to look in the heavens. They'll say looking at constellations and things like that is astrology, and it's against God's laws, and it's not what we're supposed to be doing. And so first of all, I need to tell you, I'm not here to give you your fortune. I'm not reading your horoscope or anything like that. But we are doing what God tells us in 2 Timothy. He tells us in 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16. And he says, all scripture is given by inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, and instruction in righteousness. So he's telling us that his word that's in here has been given by inspiration, and it is profitable, and this is going to be for doctrine, which means what to go by, what to follow. And the next thing was he says that he would be given signs that would mark the end of time. And so that's also in here as well. But I wanted to show you the book of Revelation. Today I want to talk to you about the signs of the end times that that Jesus actually started talking about in the book of Matthew, in Matthew chapter 24. So if we go to Matthew chapter 24, And I'm getting there, y'all. Might be get some eyeballs on. So in Matthew chapter 24, verse 3. Verse 3. So apparently, this is a time that his disciples came and they start asking him about the signs, what the signs of the end of the times would look like. And in verse 3 it says, "And he sat on the mountain of Olives, and the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall this sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" So they're asking, okay, you're telling us that there's going to be an end times, that, some of this stuff isn't for our time, but what will the signs look like when you're getting ready to return? That's what they're asking him. So in 4 and 5, we're still in chapter 24, verse 4 and 5. Jesus then answers and he says, "Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." I want y'all to think about that for a minute. He's literally saying that some people, eventually through the times of the disciples being on earth, to the end times that we're supposed to be so awake to follow these signs, that people will come in his name saying, "I'm like the Christ," or "I am the Christ," or "I am the Messiah," or "I'm like the Messiah." So he's saying that they would be people to do that. And he says, "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the Christ, and shall deceive many." So when we start hearing people say, "I'm like the Messiah," "I am the Messiah," "I'm as good as God," "I don't want to bother God," "I'm kind of like God," when you start hearing those phrases come out of somebody's mouth, you're being deceived. So, okay, here's the next one. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, and see that ye shall not be troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." So he's saying you're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars, but it's not yet. Okay, "For nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be enemies," or actually famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. So we're in the end times now, and I have to ask you, how many famines? The famines means that you can't grow crops. People are beginning to starve to death. How much of that is going on around the world? And now how much of it has been a direct judgment to the United States? Because the United States right now, since the solar eclipse of 2023, has now covered the land, and X marks the spot of a direct judgment. And that's the United States. We're under a direct judgment right now. And so I'm going to ask you, how many pestilence? Now we're talking about disease. We're talking about the viruses killing people. We're talking about childhood illnesses that have been eradicated for years and years and years, and now all of a sudden people have all these sicknesses that's reemerged all of a sudden. And now it says, "These things are the beginning of the sorrows, and then they shall deliver you up to be afflicted. They shall kill you. You shall be hated by all the nations for my name's sake. And then many will be," "and many will be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So we're going to stop right there for a minute. So he's describing exactly what we see every day. We are seeing natural affection of love for each other has stopped. Families have just dissipated to where the young generation doesn't check on the old generation anymore. It's hard to even get anybody to get dressed and see them, you know, practically daily. They're real busy. We've seen truly since COVID shutdowns, we've seen a lot of people actually don't even want to come out of their houses anymore. So, all right, so these are the signs to look for, and I feel like we are in the end times. I feel like if you can't see some of these signs going on, floods, earthquakes, all this stuff, wars, I don't know what rock you're living under, but it's time to get out of it, and it's time to look all around and figure out, hey, there's something huge going on in the earth, and it's not like it's ever been seen in our lifetimes. So, yes, there's been wars before, but not like this. So, okay, so today I'm going a little bit old school. I drug out the writing board, as you can see. I don't have computer technology and software to give you all these real beautiful charts and sophisticated, quick internet, little, I don't know, charts and stuff. But anyway, we're going to get down to it old school. So here we go. Like I said, we're going to do this old school, so never mind me moving this camera around because I want you to be able to see a little bit closer up what I'm looking at over here. I want to show you this stuff, so bear with me. And one more thing, y'all, because this is old school, and if I do lose you during this recording, look for part 2. Just check it out because it means the camera quit, okay? So let's do it. Here we go. All right, let me see if I can get y'all moved over here. Okay, here we go. Let you see what I'm looking at. Let me turn you around. And it won't let me turn y'all around. Okay.